Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of GameStack Podcast. Right here on We Just Love Games Network. This is episode 120, and I am your co-host, Vendertron. Also joining me this evening is the wonderful Shalene. Hello, Shalene.
Hi. How are you doing?
How are you doing? Just before we almost went into this scene, I had accidentally started Sea of Thieves. Which I think might be...
It's just like a reflex,
yes.
right?
So when you seen my face go, oh crap, that's what happened.
I wondered what was going wrong. I thought maybe we were going live on the wrong channel.
Well, because when you start I've got it on full screen. So when you start Sea of Thieves, it's like the whole screen is gone, right? Mm-hmm. So I was a little worried, but we're okay. Everything's fine. This is fine. Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. How are you?
I am. Therefore, I think I'm here. I made it. I just got up from a nap, and it was not a long enough nap. I'll tell you what.
Hard life, I tell you.
And yeah, it's been a week. It's been a week, and the nap was 100% necessary, or else I would not have made it.
Really?
On the show.
Really?
Yeah, it was a bad time. Oh, there was an accident on the way home. It was awful.
What happened?
There was like a car accident. I don't know. The cops weren't even there yet, but there was a fire department that had responded. And there was like, I was driving around it, and there was like an axle in the middle of the road by itself. Like, it was a bad one. I don't know why I brought that up on the podcast.
Accidents are crazy. Accidents are crazy. Sometimes you wonder. Yeah. Actually, I popped on Twitter yesterday, and there was this like post from our local news network about this vehicle that was like lodged like up. It was like up, like the bumper was here and the top of the car, front of the car was here.
Yeah, cars aren't supposed to be like that.
It was like lodged up against a pillar of a bridge in the river valley, and there was like nobody around, and they didn't know where the car came from and like how it got in that position.
And there was no driver?
Nothing. Nobody around. So, I mean, it was probably like a joyride kind of thing, right? Somebody stole the vehicle and yeah, but anyways, well, I'm glad that you had a somewhat relatively decent, non-crazy, by our definition, well, maybe your definition more like it. I feel like your definition of our definition is like wildly crazy. Like the guy that tried to drink bleach and then ended up at your office, and then you had to call the ambulance, but then the ambulance caught fire.
It was rubbing alcohol. Yeah. I wonder if he's okay. I never followed up on that.
Didn't you?
You told me the hospital.
You told me some wild story this week about how there was there was a brush fire.
There was a grass fire near my little town, and our fire department responded, and it was a pretty big grass fire. It's very windy in New Mexico. It was growing very quickly, and several nearby fire departments also responded to the grass fire to help them out. And one of the next door towns sent 2 units. So the 2 units are coming, and about 15 miles away from town, one of them just bursts into flames.
Oops.
One of the fire trucks just burst into flames, and it burned to the ground. Like it was totaled. Just, I don't know why it caught fire.
It's like that scene in The Simpsons when an ambulance comes and it rams into the thing, and then the person falls out, and then another ambulance comes to pick up the person that fell out of the ambulance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's local government is like way different than you would think it would be. It's there are so many moving parts, and it's just things happening all the time, and there's no money to pay for the things that are happening, and you have to figure it out anyway.
Well, speaking of things happening, we have a show to do tonight.
Do we?
You are listening. Yes, you're listening to episode 120. It's been 20 episodes since our 100th episode, which seems like not that long ago, actually. But we did ramp up our frequency of episodes after the 100th episode. It's been weekly now, so
That's right. That
yeah.
was the time at which we went weekly.
Yes,
with it.
correct. And this episode is titled Starfield is Real. And Shalene and I are going to talk to you about Starfield. We're also going to talk to you about a bunch of other news-related items. We're going to share with you some of our gameplay, some of what the community is playing through screenshots and stories. We're also going to take you through the stocks. Before we begin tonight's show, I would like to mention that the show is sponsored by Oak & Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget, we are live every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on twitch.tv. So if you are listening live, welcome. Happy Friday to you. Thank you for your continued support. Host us on Twitch. Tell your friends about the show. Share the link. Get people in the chat room because we love to have a live chat while we're doing the show. If you are listening to the show after the fact on any of our podcast-related platforms, thank you. Also, we love you, and thank you for your continued support.
Also, we apologize for the fact that this show is posting super late.
We're working on it. We're
getting there.
Yeah. One of the wheels for the gremlin, for the gerbil cages that powers the whole studio went down the other day, so we've got to get Herman back. We've got to get Herman back on the wheel. So he's slowly getting like larger and larger. Anyways, we also have a Discord, or as Rick likes to call it, the Chat After Dark. Shalene, why don't you tell the people about the Discord?
Discord is super fun, you guys. It's for those of you who are unfamiliar, Discord is like basically a chat platform. In many ways, it's like the old text forums of the olden internet days. But there are also voice channels in there too that you can use, and ours is just full of joy all the time. Plenty of listeners are in there, and we just love interacting with you guys, hanging out. I've gotten a lot of joy from seeing your posts, and really that kind of thing. I don't mean to sound like corny, but I'm going to sound corny. It keeps me going when I'm having a hard time and fire trucks are burning down around me.
Jesus.
I come and I look at the memes and I look at your comments, and it makes me happy.
Yeah,
so
you know what?
Discord.
I feel the same way. It's a little, the Discord is a little bit, it's entertaining. There's a channel for everyone. What's that saying? A place for everything and everything in its place.
Yes, yeah.
So yes, if you like plants, we have a channel for plants. If you like food, we have a channel for food and books, and then of course every video game. And then the lobby, and then GIF Wars, which I won't even get into. I mean, I think last week it was about crabs. This week it's about cats, once again, by default, in bathtubs or drinking water. So that's fun. If you would like to join the Discord, how can people do that?
You can join the Discord by clicking on the link right here on our Twitch page. We don't even have to be live for that link to be available. So you can visit twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames anytime of the day or night. Click that link and boom, you'll be a part of the Discord. Alternately, you can just send us a message on social media and we'll add you.
Wonderful. Well, like I said, we were going to talk about some news. We're going to share with you what the community is playing, game stocks, and also what we're playing. But first, let's roll into the news with this just in. So, Shalene, what have you got on the docket this week?
We have a few things. There's a lot to talk about this week, and some of it's kind of weird. But
when is it not weird?
I know. The world is a weird place. As always, though, I want to give a shout out to Joseph Tao, who helps us compile the news every single week. We really appreciate it. Sometimes I don't think this show would happen without you. And we're going to open up with a little E3 recap information. It's not quite E3, but it was almost E3. It was not E3, sort of, but it sort of was E3. And if you want to click on this link in the notes vendor,
I'm on
This
it.
is a sort of a recap of many of the things that have been announced during not E3. And it's a huge, huge list. I thought we just might go over some of the things that we're the most interested in.
Okay.
Dragon's Dogma 2 was announced, and this is not something that I'm personally super interested in. I never played the first, but this game has a tremendous cult following, and there are some people out there that are incredibly stoked to finally get some more Dragon's Dogma. So I'm very happy for those people. We've got Microsoft Flight Simulator is getting a major update, and part of
Hey.
that, yeah, look, it's like the little biplane, the little biplane. Isn't that cute?
Um,
And they've also
let me hold on. Oh, this is exciting.
isn't it great?
Oh, look at that. There's DC. I can go visit Lincoln. Oh yeah, this is nice. Yeah, I'm
They,
excited.
they've also added the Pelican from Halo to Microsoft Flight Sim, and I think
Brilliant.
that's amazing. I adore that.
Oh,
Um,
it looks so good.
I think we had briefly discussed before that Resident Evil 4 is getting a modern remake, and Resident Evil Village will be getting some DLC as well. So someday, when I work up the courage to finish Resident Evil Village, there'll be even more game for me to play. Um, there is just there was so much that was announced. Um, Triple A's and NDs and everything. And I'm just scrolling through these. We've
Shalene,
got.
have you played Fall Guys?
I haven't played Fall Guys. Have you?
I have, and
Tell me about Fall
I
Guys.
think we should play Fall Guys. I think you would absolutely adore and love Fall Guys. I'm just noting that they have a new update, Spartan Showdown. It looks really adorable. There's a little Mass Effect costume that you can put on the Fall Guys dude. Um,
It sounds very cute.
yeah, we should play it. I think you would really like it.
Very, very cute. Um, there are so many games here. I'm just scrolling through
Yeah, me
them.
too.
We've got Stormgate, Frozen Flame, Deliver Us Mars, Scorn. Scorn looks
Okay.
like some crazy body horror stuff. That is a game that I think I'll never ever play.
Yeah, same.
It looks quite horrifying to me.
Deliver Us Mars
Um,
looks really good though.
it does. It looks very
I'm
interesting.
still sitting on the sidelines for a really good Mars game, and this one actually looks like it looks really
Mhm.
good. Like I'll probably give it a go. Yeah. September.
Potion Craft Alchemist Simulator looks like a bit of a fun time. I love that kind of quirky
Mhm.
situation. And I'm very excited for Flintlock. I think Flintlock looks really, really intriguing. It looks just, I like the way that the art style looks and the action looks smooth. And I'm very interested in Flintlock. It looks amazing. Um, the Invincible Rotwood is the new game from Clay, and Clay, they can do no wrong. Just everything they make is wonderful. Um, of course, Starfield, we'll go into that in a bit more depth. It exists, it's a real game. I've been denying it all this time, but I turns out I was wrong. I'm glad to be wrong.
I feel
Turns out there is a video
I
game.
feel like a part of you is still a little bit cautiously optimistic.
Yes. I think it's going to
Which may be an
be.
understatement.
Well, we can talk about that more later.
Okay.
But there are still. I'm full of doubt. I'm full of doubt all the time. Usually, there's a lot of self doubt in there, and just general doubt. But my doubt in Starfield, it's a big doubt. There's many doubt. And Kojima, Hideo Kojima, is working on a project with Xbox. It is untitled. We know nothing about it. Only that that Kojima is working on something with Xbox.
Brilliant.
And some games in the Persona series will be coming to Xbox Game Pass: Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal. I am interested in the Persona games because of the way that they have a schedule. Uh, I don't really know what the plot is for these games, but while you're doing the plot, you're also living the life of a high school student, and you have to go to class and work your part-time job and stuff.
Yeah.
And I find that kind of thing really appealing. So,
Um,
yeah.
can we just talk about Arc 2 for a minute here?
Arc 2. I forgot Arc 2. Let's talk about Arc 2.
Okay. So if you guys recall, Vin Diesel is in it.
I think they cast Vin Diesel in honor of you, because like Vin Diesel.
Close, but probably not. I mean, Vin Diesel's going to obviously be part of like some sort of storyline in Arc, but everybody who's played Arc, who wants to play Arc 2, wants to just breed dodos. Hello. Right? And grow a garden and have a happy little life on the beach by the ocean. Is that too much to ask? So, I'm excited for Arc 2, 2023, obviously still a ways away, but nice to see Studio Wildcard bringing out some new cinematic trailers. Obviously no gameplay, but it does look really good. I agree. Joseph Tao says in the chat, looks like a real game. I think it's going to be great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was quite a dramatic trailer that they had with Vin Diesel riding that huge dinosaur with a character that was likely his daughter.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And I love that Vin Diesel, he plays Ark. He's a fan of Ark. So the fact that he's involved and there's this story mode thing, it makes me think that maybe the story mode won't be a total betrayal of what fans love about Ark, because he gets it. He's a player.
There's two main things that they have to maintain in order for me to play it. And that is 1, open world survival, 2, building, and all of the things that come with like having your own home. Like,
right.
So like garden,
a mortgage,
breeding,
property taxes, plumbing repairs,
HOA, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving along.
Yes. But I quite agree. The things that players love about Ark, I think they'll have to bring those back.
Yeah. What did you think of the pit?
The pit. I think the pit looks really good. I've played the PTS version of the pit in the public test server. So
Wait,
I was really...
What did you say? What test server?
A public test server. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I thought you said Poca test server, and I was like...
That would be a test server I'd be really interested in joining too. It would be a good time. There'd be accordions and it would be grand.
So you think it's got some potential? You're gonna...
I think it has tremendous potential. The environment vendor is brilliantly done. It's I love Fallout 76. I'm still playing it on the regular, but I love Fallout 76 for what it is, and it's not a traditional Fallout experience. I fully acknowledge that, but the environment of the pit makes me feel like I am in a more traditional Fallout experience. Mm-hmm. That ruined city, being in that ruined city, in that environment, it makes me feel like I'm playing Fallout in a way that Fallout 76 necessarily doesn't. So that was something I enjoyed. Mm-hmm. The characters are great. The storyline seems cool so far. I think it's promising, very promising.
Good.
So
I'm glad. I also see that Plague Tale has a second sort of thing coming.
Yes, they have a sequel, a Plague Tale Requiem. It looks gorgeous. It looks like it will be every bit as powerful as the first game in the series, which of course was a GameStack Game of the Year some years ago.
Yes, so that's right. That was 2 or 3 years ago.
Revisit the world of Amicia and Hugo. So I don't think I ever finished that game either.
Plague Tale Innocence?
I wonder how long it's... Yeah. I think I got about 3/4 of the way through and then wandered away. Yeah.
It's good. It's really good.
It's a brilliant game, yeah. Really, really good. Yeah. So, moving along, Sony is planning to reveal a PS5 Pro controller with removable analog sticks soon. This is presumably going to be somewhat comparable to the Xbox Elite controller. Uh, this is according to a report from GameSpot. And this GameSpot article says that they will release the Pro controller with removable analog sticks and rear paddle triggers, similar to an Xbox Elite controller. They will reveal this genuine professional controller in the coming weeks. And a rumor suggests that Sony will hold a briefing of some type at the end of June, where it may also reveal the release date for God of War Ragnarok, which I am just desperately looking forward to. The prior game, the 2018 God of War, was absolutely a masterpiece, one of my favorite games, maybe ever. So, according to Try Hard Guides, which broke this rumor about the Pro controller, the code name for this controller is Hunt. And in addition to removable analog sticks and the rear paddle triggers, it will also have trigger stops and some buttons on the back. Henderson of Try Hard Guides claims to have seen a prototype of the controller, but he did not publish any images. He says that it's fairly similar in style to the existing DualShock, but it does have those updates, and it will have new grips to help users hold the controller, and these may be removable. I think that the DualShock control, or the Dual, is that what's called, the DualShock? I just blanked there. The 5th generation Sony controller is one of the best controller experiences I've ever had. It's a really great piece of hardware, and I know a lot of people treasure that experience with the Xbox Elite controller, being able to customize their button layouts, and it's also a really excellent tool for accessibility. So this will be a great thing for a lot of people. I am not the target market for this. My original DualShock is quite enough for me. But I think this is something that's going to be very exciting for a lot of players, especially in terms of accessibility. Yeah. And anything that helps people play, access media and play games more easily is a good thing in my book.
Yeah, I personally prefer the DualShock over the Xbox controller. I just fits better.
Yeah.
Just fits better in my hands.
I really like Xbox controllers. I've always been a fan, but the DualShock it's just a brilliant controller. The weight of it and the size is just, I don't know what it is, but it's a very subtle difference, and it is quite superior in my opinion.
Nice.
So, yeah. So, staying on that PlayStation train, PlayStation Plus Premium and Extra pricing and free monthly games and some other things have been announced. This is also a GameSpot article.
That's right, because I think when we were going through the monthly games, we didn't have PlayStation at the time.
Right. And Steve Watts and Moises Taveras wrote this article on GameSpot. Thank you for providing this for us. And PS Plus now has these different tiers. So PlayStation Plus Essential is the lowest tier of PlayStation Plus, and it's basically just a rebrand of the service as it has always existed. So if you're interested in keeping the PlayStation Plus experience that you have right now, it is the same price, and you'll get multiplayer access, PlayStation Plus discounts, cloud storage, and a distribution of free games across the PS4 and PS5 every month. And you will maintain access to the PS Plus collection, which includes some PS4 titles like Bloodborne and The Last of Us Remastered. That is $59.99 annually US dollars. And PlayStation Plus Extra is the middle tier of the new offerings. It's a step up from the Essential tier. It includes everything from the prior tier, and also adds a catalog of up to 400 games across the PS4 and PS5 library, including Ubisoft Plus games. The Extra tier has some notable PS4 and PS5 games like Death Stranding, God of War, and Marvel's Spider-Man. This one costs $99.99 annually for the US. And if you want to get the most premium tier of PlayStation Plus, it is called PlayStation Plus Premium, fittingly, very appropriately. And PlayStation Plus Premium it includes all of the prior things and also 340 additional games that you can play.
Wow.
These games are from the PS3, PS2, PSP, and original PlayStation libraries. PS3 games can only be streamed, but the rest of the libraries are available via a mixture of downloading and streaming. And this tier includes some limited time trials for newer games like Horizon Forbidden West and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And as a caveat, if cloud streaming is not available where you are, then PlayStation Plus Deluxe will be offered at a slightly lower price. That includes most of the same features, but without the ability to play streaming games, including those PS3 titles. And this will cost you $119 annually in US dollars. PlayStation Plus will continue to have free games every month.
Jesus. That's $150 a year Canadian. 155 actually.
Mm-hmm. But it does give you access to an awful lot of games in the library.
Who has time to play all of those games? $155 a year, I play like 3 games.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's not necessarily for everyone, but I think it would be a great value for some people because they can get that, and for the price of a couple of games, they can play anything. And I think that's going to be a real boon for families with children in particular.
Yeah, because kids get bored. Kids get bored, right? They want to try new games and like, yeah. I mean, how much money did families pay renting games from Blockbuster back in the day?
I mean, as a kid, I just played the same games over and over.
Me too.
Over and over.
Grand Theft Auto.
Because we
every
were
day,
poor.
all day.
So yeah, I just played the same games over and over. And I would have loved to have a catalog of 400 plus games to choose from. I mean, they're so spoiled. Yeah, in the comments here, Archon says, kids have time. And Joseph Tao says, kids and failing teenagers have lots of time.
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys get it.
Pretty much.
You guys get it.
Yep.
And Joseph Tao, he leaves some commentary occasionally on the news stories. He stated that he upgraded to see how it works, and it's great so far, but he wants to see how it evolves going forward. He hopes to put some of the old classics like Legend of Dragoon on the classic list, but he doubts that's going to happen anytime soon. So I feel like Joseph Tao is kind of our PlayStation expert, our resident PlayStation expert, because I tend to go more Xbox when it's consoles, and we're all primarily PC players more than anything. So our next article is, it just makes me angry.
Oh no. Oh no. I gotta click the link, and it's this whole thing.
I saw this on Twitter, and I was just so disappointed and so annoyed. 343 Industries is the Halo studio, and they included in Halo Infinite a Juneteenth cosmetic item, which sounds great on first glance there. Yes, we're marking Juneteenth. We're gonna celebrate that, and that seems like a great thing. But of course, Juneteenth is a holiday that celebrates emancipation of enslaved African Americans in the United States. And this cosmetic was named bonobo, which of course is a form of primate. And this is tremendously offensive. And I can't believe they botched this that badly. Just, can you not? Can you not? How did they think that was okay? Who okayed that?
Somebody that should probably be fired. Because this is no way an accident. this is too cringy to be an accident.
It's mortifying. It's mortifying. How dare they? How dare they?
I can't.
They took something that is supposed to be celebratory for the African American community and made it just as offensive as possible. They have changed the name to Freedom, but I'm still
That's just
furious.
as bad.
I'm furious.
Oh my
So,
gosh. That's like total knee jerk reaction to try to like save face.
Do better, you guys. Do better. That's please do better.
Ooh.
I'm so mad.
Ooh.
I'm so mad.
Ooh. I don't know how I feel about that's just
It's bad time.
343 is a Microsoft company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're Microsoft's internal Microsoft studio. They make Halo now. And also mistakes. They make mistakes like this one. And let's hope that all of Microsoft is not failing quite that hard.
Stupid. Stupid. I can't. Let's just move on to the next thing.
It's crazy. It's crazy. How? But Starfield is a real game, you guys. Starfield exists. We got to see gameplay. I told you I would not believe Starfield was a game that existed until we saw gameplay, and we've seen it. So it exists. Probably.
Right?
At least a vertical slice of gameplay exists.
So what happened? Like, did you watch it live?
Did, yes. I watched the Xbox Bethesda showcase.
Okay.
I was doing a bunch of kitchen work, a bunch of cooking and cleaning and stuff. And I just carried my iPad around while I was doing that, watching the showcase. And when we got closer to Starfield, I just put it on the big TV and quit everything I was doing and watched. And I've got to say, I have no faith left in Todd Howard and what he tells me.
The first thing I said to Shalene when I watched the trailer was, did Todd Howard get a chin job? I feel like he's turning into John Cena. And she's like, no, it's always been that chiseled. Like, I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't know. You know me, I feel so burned by Bethesda that like they could plop a gold brick in front of me and I'd still be like,
let's test it out first.
No, I don't believe it. Is it real? So like, I don't know. And I think that, and we talked about this during the Game Awards, the Stack Awards, was that how like this year was going to be the year of space games.
Yes.
And I think that Starfield is leading the forefront of space, is going to be leading the forefront of space games. We saw the advent of like games like Icarus and other things like that were like space survival, but this looks really good. It looks good.
I find it really interesting watching the discussions on social media. There are two camps of people. The camp of people that says, hey, look, Bethesda made No Man's Sky. And there is the camp who says, this is nothing like No Man's Sky. That's like comparing it to just any other video game that exists. I do think, though, that it sure reminded me a lot of No Man's Sky when they started using their little multi-tool to mine ore. It just looked highly similar to No Man's Sky to me.
I feel like
I haven't put in that many hours into No Man's Sky, so maybe that's a very I'm falling short of the word, but maybe that's a short-sighted way to look at it.
Well, I mean, this is like, for me, it's Outer Worlds meets No Man's Sky. You know, it's a space survival game, but there's also some level of like infinitism about it that we've never really seen within a Bethesda game. So, I mean, the claim that there are like so many planets that you would never actually be able to physically visit them all.
Let's talk about that.
Is somewhat of a claim that I think is a bit bold.
I think he said over 1,000 planets in the game, and each planet you can land anywhere on the planet. That is something that I found incredibly concerning about the game, because if there are over 1,000 planets and I can land anywhere on the surface of any of these planets, what that tells me is that no one has had time to build out these environments. I'm not going to be finding the beautiful environmental storytelling that I love when I play a Bethesda game. And I at best I can hope for some randomly generated nonsense, which I don't enjoy. So I to me that says it's a big giant red flag for me.
Okay. So, as somebody who's played quite a bit of No Man's Sky, there's a certain, what's the word? Je ne sais quoi? Is that what it is?
I was absolutely going to propose that word, but I thought surely that's not what it means.
About No Man's Sky that has, I don't know, it's like you can tell that the planets are randomly generated.
Yes.
And so if that's how this is going to feel with Starfield, then that's, I mean, I guess that's what it's going to be. It's going to kind of suck, but whatever. But from the gameplay that I could see, it looks pretty good. I'm curious about the randomness. So one of the things that we all hope and love about the Fallout franchise is just the total complete randomness about the world, right? You come upon this, you know, somebody stuck in a refrigerator and they've been in there for 3 days because somebody, you know, and I mean, obviously that was sort of placed there by the devs. But it's random to us in experiencing the game, right? So how much of that is going to be present? How much of the worlds are going to be so randomly generated that like it's going to create an entirely new user experience? And are those 1,000 planets the same for everyone?
Yes, that's a question that I have as well.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, are the planets the same for everyone, or is it just randomly generated with AI in such a way that nobody ever experiences the same planet twice? Mm-hmm. Or it's just some version. I don't know. Anyways, I found that the FPS gameplay was really all not that exciting for me. I think mostly because I'm not too much into first-person shooters, but
right.
It did sort of give me, I don't know. I feel like the combat feels a little bit or looks a little bit more sharp than Fallout.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
What do you think?
I definitely agree with that. I do, you know, it was a limited demo what we were able to see. Of course, now for those of you seeing the video, we're watching the lockpick mini game. It's not Bethesda without a lockpick mini game.
Right.
But I genuinely, I really hope that this game will not be entirely combat focused in this way. I hope that it will follow in the example of its predecessors in the Bethesda studio, that combat is not necessarily the only option all the time. I want to see stealth options. I want to see the ability to talk your way out of things with charisma and speech checks. And I love that in Bethesda games. Mm-hmm. I love that the character that I build can be absolutely different than the character that you build, and we can have some very, very different experiences based on how we play.
Let's talk about, while we're on the subject of character customization,
yes,
ship customization.
Oh no, I thought you were going to jump into character creation.
Character creation, that's what I meant to say. Yes, of course. Character creation is amazing. It looks great.
Thank you. Yes. It looks much better than it does in previous Bethesda games. Very excited about it. And I really liked what they've done with bringing back things like traits that are similar to some of the things that you saw in Fallout New Vegas, that kind of thing. And the traits are so varied. It sounds like they can really change your experience of the game.
Yeah.
There was one trait that comes with you have a house, but you also have a mortgage to pay off. And I love that. And there were so many different ways to customize your character in terms of not only their appearance, but also their personality.
Yeah.
You can be an introvert or an extrovert. And
totally going to be an introvert.
That.
Totally going to be an introvert. That. Like, get away from me. Ew, ew, ew. What? Who are you?
And as Tasman points out in the chat, no voice protagonist. That was something that was very divisive about Fallout 4, the voice protagonist. And it had pros and cons for me, but I definitely have a much easier... I feel like a game is more successful as an RPG without a voice protagonist.
You know, it's funny that you should say that, because it's something that I never really considered. Like, I played Fallout New Vegas and I loved it, and I played Fallout 4 and I loved it, and I never really noticed. I never really noticed a difference. And then, like, people were talking about how, like, there's going to be no voice protagonist in Starfield, and I was like, I never really thought about it. But I actually think I prefer no voice, because I generate that in my head, right? But
yeah, I think there's definitely a market for a voice protagonist, and in many games I love a voice protagonist. But when I want just an RPG, I'd prefer to build that in my own imagination.
Right.
And now let's move on to ship customization.
Well, okay, one more thing that I wanted to ask you about. So now Todd Howard is a man. I mean, we all think he is anyways. And, you know, so how well do you think makeup customization is going to be in this?
I don't remember seeing makeup customization in this character creator. As we're looking at now, that the body types are much more varied than they've ever been in the past, which is something that I appreciate. Diversity is wonderful. I didn't see any curly hairstyles, which I'm highly looking for. I always want some good curly hairstyles. I don't know why it's so hard. But I don't remember seeing samples of makeup. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt.
It looks
Todd Howard did not make this game all by himself. Maybe there are some great makeup options, or maybe there is no makeup in space. Maybe you can't be bothered. You're too busy building your ship.
Who goes into space without proper eyeliner?
I mean, I would wear eyeliner while fighting space pirates. 100%. But we're not all me. So we'll see.
Okay. So space customization, what do you think?
The ship customization?
Or yes, ship customization.
So, I'm really not huge into building things in video games.
Right.
It's just not something that tends to really be exciting to me. The only thing that I think could make me genuinely really interested in the ship customization aspect of the game is if there are fail states. I want this to be something like a little bit like Kerbal Space Program. And if I build this ship very poorly, I could end up blowing up on the tarmac.
Okay. So a little bit of realism to it then. Yeah.
Yes, I want comical, hilarious, disastrous fail states in shipbuilding. I want to make horrible mistakes and laugh at them. But I know this will be great for a lot of people. This is something that many players are going to genuinely sink tons of time into and are going to really adore. But it's probably not something I'll spend much time doing.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I really loved in Outer Worlds was having my own ship, but I really wanted the ability to customize it. And so I like this idea of customization. I like that you can also fly around in space. I like that idea that, your ship is your home. You build your quarters and that's what it is. I'm curious to see how easy it's going to be to build, because building in Fallout 76 was probably the worst thing I've ever experienced. So hopefully they made that a little bit better. They did show a little bit of base building as well in the trailer, which I think is kind of neat. So you can call a home planet. I assume you can call a planet your home. One of the things that they didn't show in the trailer is travel. So
Yes.
How do you travel between solar systems, planets?
So I don't know
What is
exactly, but there
right?
was an interview that Todd Howard did with IGN wherein he stated that you don't fly seamlessly from space down to the planet's surface. So I think it may
it's a
be a
loading
sort of
screen?
situation, where you can fly in space, but then when you choose to go to the planet, it's not a situation of you flying there. It's a selection of the planet.
That's gonna be really immersion breaking for a lot of people.
Yes, likely, but this is it's a new version of the creation engine, but this is still the creation engine.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think we could expect more than that, especially considering
here we
there
go.
are
So you can choose
1,000 planets.
So you have the solar system, and then you choose where you want to land, basically. And okay. So there we go. That looks okay. I think that would be all right. Yeah,
so like choosing from a star
it's
map.
literally fast traveling. So if you're used to fast traveling in Fallout, that's what you're gonna get with Starfield.
And that's another thing I just want to bring up briefly. I feel like many gamers are maybe overlooking the fact that this is still a Bethesda game, and it looks like a Bethesda game. When you go into conversations with people, it does that Bethesda face zoom thing, and this game, it's there will be jank, there will be bugs. What we saw was a highly controlled vertical slice of gameplay. And I feel like people may be putting their expectations a little too high. I would not expect a gorgeous, seamless experience in Starfield. Don't forget that Bethesda made this.
You gonna play it at launch?
Yeah, I will. But I don't know if I would if it wasn't on Game Pass. I'm not sure that I would buy it.
Okay.
If I mean, I'd buy it eventually, I'm sure. But the only reason that I'll be playing it day one is Game Pass. Yeah. How about you?
I don't know. I'm just so tired of being burned.
I understand that.
And we know that Starfield is going to be an $80 game. Well, $80 for me, $50 for you, right? But or whatever, 60.
Games are 60 here.
60. So it's going to be 80 for me.
I'm going to read the Joseph Tao commentary on Starfield.
What does Joseph say?
Joseph says, the big question is, will it work? They can barely get a single map to work decently. How will they get so many to work? How empty will most of these maps be? Until they show more, I will just assume that this game won't work well for months, which means I will be just ignoring it until it's fixed.
Exactly.
I really hope smaller studios at Bethesda and Microsoft are helping them with this, because I feel like this is going to be bad. And I think that's a very realistic take.
Totally.
And it's absolutely a truth of gaming that anybody who plays a Bethesda game in the first 6 months is basically paying for the privilege to beta test the game. It's not and this is said with tons of love. I adore Bethesda. I have sunk thousands of hours into their games, and I want to enjoy Starfield. I want Starfield to be fun. But I have played a lot of broken Bethesda games on launch, and let's be realistic. Let's be realistic here. It's just silly to expect them to come out with something shiny.
Well, I'm probably not going to play it on launch. I am definitely going to watch other people play it at launch, but yeah, this is a whole different wheelhouse for them. It's a little bit of a rinse, wash, repeat, but at the same time, it's very much different than what they're typically used to working on. So, which is good. I think that, you know, it is absolutely time for Bethesda to diversify when it comes to the content that they make.
Yeah, it does sound like it's a game they've always wanted to make. So
yeah.
Good on them for making it.
Yeah. So wish them all the luck in the world. Hopefully it's a huge success. But yeah, I'm gonna have to sit and wait on that one.
I don't blame you one bit. You know what else we're gonna be waiting on? Fallout 5, which was
yes.
I sort of assumed that Fallout 5 was somewhere down the pipeline for Bethesda Studios, but it was officially confirmed by Todd Howard that Fallout 5 will be the next Bethesda Game Studios game after The Elder Scrolls 6. So
why after Elder Scrolls? Why does Elder Scrolls always get? It's like the little brother or sister at Christmas that gets to open their present first. Elder Scrolls always takes precedent.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they had the Elder Scrolls before they had Fallout, and the Elder Scrolls people have been waiting an awful lot longer than we have. It's been 2011 when Skyrim came out. 2011.
Really?
So they've been waiting. Yeah, they've been waiting a little bit longer than we have. It's. I
feel so old.
Yeah,
I remember when Skyrim came out, and I was like, "You guys, you got to see the night sky. The stars are amazing. Yes. The aurora borealis is so good."
Yes.
And now I go back to it, and it's
Skyrim. It's such an icon, and I I'm interested in seeing if Elder Scrolls 6 will live up to that. But I think it's just a little bit ludicrous that they are talking about Fallout 5 at all. It's going to be like 12 years.
Well, I mean, they're doing the same thing with Fallout 5 that they did with Skyrim. Let's tell them 5 years in advance.
5 years, maybe try 15. We're not going to see Fallout 5 until the 2030s, if we're lucky. I just it's
we'll all be retired.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time we'll have nothing but time on our hands. So Fallout 5 will be couch gamers. We'll be back into it, the thick of things.
We will be filming the TFS reunion tour live from the nursing home. When we are old and gray.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, man. Yeah.
Gracious. Yeah. I just thought that was worth commenting on, but also a little silly.
Any hints? Did Todd Howard give us any hints?
Nope, that's all we got.
Because like Fallout 5, okay, the only expectation that I have with Fallout 5, new engine.
Won't happen.
Then get out.
It'll just be another revamped version of Creation. It'll just be a new and improved Creation. And yeah.
Bethesda can afford a new engine.
They can, but I just don't expect it. I don't expect it one bit.
How much of Starfield do you think is going to influence the development of Fallout 5?
Well, I think we'll have to wait and see. I think that's going to depend on the reception of Starfield.
Yeah.
Is Starfield going to be a big success? Will people love it? Or are they going to play this game and just be angry?
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's going to depend.
I hate to jump back to Starfield, but one of the things that we didn't talk about, and I don't recall in the showcase, was multiplayer option, co-op.
I don't think there is a multiplayer option of any kind. Okay. I think it's a strictly single player game. I
mean, it's time to go back to basics for Bethesda. I'm excited to see what Fallout 5 might be in the next. I'm gonna err on the liberal side of things and say the game will be available to us in 5+ years.
Oh, you sweet summer child.
Oh man.
Oh dear. Yeah.
5 years.
We'll see.
5 years when we're still doing GameStack podcast.
The wait between Bethesda games gets longer and longer, and I'm just not hopeful. I'm not hopeful.
Um,
Um, so let's go back to that really cynical part of ourselves and talk about Activision Blizzard.
oh no, are they getting sued again?
Activision Blizzard. Uh, it turns out there's no evidence that Activision Blizzard ignored harassment, according to a survey by Activision Blizzard. They did an internal review and just an internal audit and determined that there is no evidence that Activision Blizzard senior executives ever ignored or attempted to downplay instances of gender harassment that occurred and were reported. And I don't know about you, but I believe them implicitly. Why would they lie? You know, it's not as if they have billions of dollars on the line. And I felt like when I read this headline, I immediately thought of that meme where President Obama puts the medal around his own neck.
Yes.
Like,
yes. That's like, okay. So the reports, okay. So basically the reports about them destroying evidence and resisting any sort of federal investigation were just actions of an honest company doing nothing wrong.
Yep. Yeah, perfectly reasonable things. And they
Oh my gosh.
oh my god, reading through this,
What a
it gets
trash
worse.
fire.
I didn't read all the way through this article before, and holy heck, it gets worse. So yeah, they state here in this article, it's a gamesindustry.biz article. The report did not address a report that Kotick himself once threatened to have an assistant killed, something the company called an obviously hyperbolic and inappropriate voicemail.
Goodness.
Oh, geez. That's just silly.
Okay, so can you refresh the listener's memory for the original part of this story? What had originally happened?
So Activision was sued basically a bunch of times. There's just tremendous outcries against this company by current and former employees, that there was tons of harassment based on gender disparities and just lots of harassment and sexual harassment, and it's just it happened. These things happened, and it's embarrassing that they did this internal review and found no evidence that this was mishandled. So we'll see.
Yeah. Anyways, good job on trying to gaslight everyone, Activision.
Yeah.
But you can't pull the wool over our eyes that quickly.
Just keep on telling yourselves that, Activision.
Basically been trumped. We've been trumped.
So, this next article is also from gamesindustry.biz, and I thought it was a really interesting discussion point. It has been a bit of a quiet time for game releases, and a lot of major games are delayed out of 2020 into 2023. And this article discusses a lot of challenges that game developers are facing and some of the reasons why so many games have been delayed into 2023. And there are certainly still games coming out. I don't need to downplay that, but there are far fewer games than had been coming out, which personally I'm fine with because I have a mountain of unplayed games.
Yeah, that's why it's called GameStack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed. We have a stack of games. And I just thought it was an interesting talking point. They've got, with remote working, so this is a quote from 2 Point Studios, a 40-person developer that delayed its upcoming simulation game 2 Point Campus. And they stated, "We lost the meerkat thing with remote working. Because if someone's swearing at your level over there or someone's moaning about a bug, you just hear it and you fix it on the fly. So there's an interaction thing that has changed
Mm-hmm.
game development for these people for this studio, and um, it's really interesting how remote work has affected that, and it can be really difficult. And there is lag to everything because they lose the ability to just have informal talks. Everything has to be an arranged meeting, and um,
Hmm.
yeah, it's really interesting. So I just wanted to kind of bring this up and ask you, vendor, how you feel about the fact that so many games have been delayed out of 2022. It's a bit of a dry year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, okay, so I have a couple of thoughts. First of all, I think that this article misses it a little bit when it comes to remote work as somebody who now works entirely remotely. Um, there
Yes, but
is
you don't work on a as collaborative of a thing, do
right.
you?
Okay. Yes. So I have multiple ongoing projects that require me to talk to several people every
Okay.
day, all day. Um, so this is where my first point comes in is that I don't think that people working remotely it disables them from being able to effectively communicate.
Mhm.
There are umpteen amount of project management and team building software that are out there that allow people to communicate to each other. Some companies even work on Discord calls all day long where there's people on a call just working away.
Mhm.
And if they need to talk to each other, they just unmute. Slack is a perfect example of teams working together throughout the day, and when there's questions there's instant messaging and you can pop in a voice chat. And so the idea of not having access to people as compared to working in an office or in-person setting is totally bogus. I don't agree with that at all. I think
Mhm.
that's just not a thing. We live in the age of communication and technology where information is shared at the speed of light. So that's a little weird. I think that there's something more to it in the fact that people working remotely place now have the ability to put boundaries
Mm.
around how they work. So
That's very interesting.
so like for example, if I need to shut off from all of the other people on my team, I can do that just by clicking mute.
I can't barge into your space anymore and
No,
force you to look at my
right?
thing.
So I mean there's a certain there I can understand how a company could make the case that you need to be available if you're going to work remotely. Because as it stands right now, if I'm knee deep in work and I've got to focus on something, I'm going to shut everything out to be able to get that done. So I can understand maybe where that might play a role
Mhm.
in but then again, like I don't know. I that doesn't entirely explain video game production,
Right.
right? Like I think games just aren't being produced because the industry has built themselves into a corner in the sense that they are constantly pushing updates and content to existing games.
Right. Right.
So they have entire development teams, you know, building a new season for Sea of Thieves, building a new season for Fortnite, building a new season for Fallout 76. And like, there's no other new development teams working on entirely new content,
Right.
entirely new games. So maybe this
You
is
think games as service has put a damper on innovation
oh,
in
totally,
games?
completely. When with respect to AAA
Mhm.
and bigger games, now is the time for indie games to shine.
I agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah. And
I really do.
I think to a certain extent we've seen that. I think this
Mhm.
article really is just talking about AAA games. Because there's been a
Um,
significant amount of indie games developed and released in the last 2 years.
well, something that I really do, I feel like this time in our industry, where so many things have been delayed and so many things are just being pushed out a little bit farther. This is what I've been waiting for years now.
And then you can finally finish all of the games.
I have so many things to play.
Oh my gosh.
And now I feel so much less pressure to be checking out this new thing and that new thing. And I feel like I've been caught in this cycle of playing the first 10 hours of every new game and then never touching it again.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time that I completed a video game.
So,
I genuinely don't.
So would you be entirely mad at you if I gifted you Fall Guys just so that we could play it?
Oh, well, Fall Guys is a friend experience. It's not the kind of thing that you have to come to.
There's not really a story
right?
to
like,
it.
There's, yeah. So you don't have to gift it to me, though. I'll buy it. I can buy it to play with you. But we do need to finish It Takes Two.
Oh my gosh. And Life is Strange.
And Life is Strange True Colors, yes. And there's this is what I've been waiting for, is a chance to not have that pressure to, because I can't, part of it is part of it's myself and the way that I'm interested in video games. I love video games.
I agree.
I want to see them all. I want to try them all. But now, I'm so busy and my job is awful and my personal life is crazy. And I don't have the time to devote that I used to have. And part of it is that I feel like I want to talk about that for the podcast. So I want to check stuff out because, like, oh, yes, I should cover this for the show. This is something we want to talk about on the show. So I do it. I play the first bit of games and I just don't finish anything. And if the industry can just keep this up and just quit releasing stuff for a couple of years, I can spend some time following my heart and playing what I want to play instead of what I feel compelled to play.
Except for Animal Crossing. There's always time for Animal Crossing.
Yes, there's absolutely always time for Animal Crossing. Yes.
Oh, so good. Okay.
So I if you maybe out there in Listenerlandia don't have enough games on your stack, well, I hope you're an Amazon
there's more.
Prime member. Yes. Amazon, July is around the corner. Amazon Prime Day is in July. This is a VG 24/7 article by Stephanie Nunnally. And on Prime Day, July 12th through 13th, Amazon will be handing out Grid Legends, Need for Speed Heat, and Mass Effect Legendary Edition to all Prime members. So if you've never played the Mass Effect series, or if you just want to revisit it with Legendary Edition but couldn't justify the expense, and you're a Prime member, now is your time. Now is your time, you guys. You'll also be able to pick up Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Star Wars Republic Commando for free. And leading up to Prime Day, starting on June 21st, Prime members can also grab the following list of games. You ready for this?
Oh, boy.
10 Second Ninja X, 8 Doors, Arum's Afterlife Adventure, Adling Adventures, Bang Bang Racing, Clouds and Sheep 2, Death Squared, Fatal Fury Special, Gianna Sisters, Twisted Dreams, Gone Viral, Q, Manual Samuel, Metal Slug 2, Metal Unit, Pumped BMX Pro, Puzzle of the Year -10 pack, Rain World, Road Trip -3 pack, Samurai Showdown 2, Serial Cleaner. Oh, I want to play Serial Cleaner. The Crows.
You notice these are all games without colons.
Some of them are. We've had a couple of colons. The Crow's Eye, the Dark Side Detective. Dark Side Detective is so good, you guys. I highly recommend it. The Dark Side Detective: A Fumble in the Dark. The King of Fighters 2000, The King of Fighters 2002, and the Metronomicon, Slay the Dance Floor.
Dark Side Detective Fumble in the Dark is like when I get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And I'm like, what the hell did I trip on? Like, I swear when I went to bed, there was nothing on the floor. And now there's like a cat. I don't even have a cat. Like,
The Dark Side Detective is a brilliant point and click adventure. Highly recommend. It's a fun time.
And Metronomicon, Slay the Dance Floor. I mean, like, I've gotta look this. I've gotta look this up, Shalene.
I am intrigued.
I don't even
more.
like what is it? What is it? Is it like is it Dance Dance Revolution coming back to us? Like, it looks like some sort of 2D maybe.
I feel like we're just seeing concept art thus
far. Oh my god,
the
look at them dancing.
Oh wow, that is a whole thing. Presumably this is a rhythm game.
Boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. This is
gonna
be
they're
awesome.
Having a dance off.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait. Did you see one of those items was called the Necronomithong?
No.
It was a pair of undies called the Necronomithong.
Like here, maybe?
That was not just keep it playing. And pause.
Oh.
Once per fight, resists a fatal blow and restores 20%.
Oh my god.
Health.
Window Wiper Shades bestows a 50% chance to resist being inflicted by blind.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to play that eventually. Probably for 20 minutes just to report on the show, and then that'll be it.
Indeed. That vendor is all the news I have today.
Wow. Well, that was amazing. I mean, you should definitely do the news every week.
I mean, I try, but life being life.
It sucks when I do it.
I disagree, but I appreciate the compliment.
We also have to talk about the stocks. And as always, I have yet to fix this bumper to make it less long and arduous.
Just turn it down and talk over it.
I can't because it just ruins the whole experience. These stock prices are coming to you at 4 p.m. close compared to our last reported stock prices on the show last week. Sony closed at $84, down $4.06. Microsoft at $247.65, down $5. Nintendo also down $1.96, closing at $52.15. Take-Two took home the money today with $125.81 stock price, up $2.17. Activision down $1.77, closing at $74.71. Ubisoft down $2.92, closing at $42.53. EA at $128.54, down $4.90. And Tencent closing strong compared to all of our other game listed stocks at $46.73, up $3.02. So, yeah. Looks to me like the stock markets have took a bit of a tumble over the last week. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that crypto has totally tanked completely. Like the worst ever crash. People are like, crypto doesn't even exist. It doesn't even exist anymore. It's like gone.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So Jessica Starr. Oh, I love this. She says, so are those numbers based on last week or the daily index?
Impossible to know.
Well, I mean, stocks don't usually go down this much in a single day, hopefully. But as I said, these numbers are reported in comparison to the last statistics on the stocks that we reported
I'm glad
last
you
week.
could stop by and troll us, Jess.
Yes. Yes, so that is GameStock. We are also going to talk about what the community is playing. And I've got three screenshots and stories for you, Shalene. And if you wouldn't mind giving the viewers a nice sort of description of the images. This first one comes to us from, actually all three images come to us from Taz this evening.
Okay, I am guessing that this is I've forgotten the name now. It's the zombie game from Xbox. It's the second one in the series. And this is an inventory management screen.
Yes. And I don't actually know because he didn't tell us which game this
What
is
is
from.
that game called?
But he says
Taz is in chat. He can help us.
he says plunder the caption with the screenshot in Discord says plunder pack Sea of Thieves inspired bounty rewards. And so for our audio listeners, it is, as Shalene said, sort of a menu screen. But the plunder pack says Megalodon vehicle delivery muscle car delivers a Sea of Thieves inspired muscle car to a location near your base. Brilliant.
State of Decay.
State
Thank
of
you,
Decay.
Archin. I could not think of the name.
Okay, excellent. So that's State of Decay. And then he also sent us a picture of this, which looks like,
Ooh,
can you guess?
Fallout 4.
Can you guess where that is?
This is overlooking Lexington?
Is it Lexington? I would have thought Corvega.
Lexington? Isn't the Corvega factory in Lexington?
Oh, yes, you're right. He says a view of downtown Boston and Corvega factory from high atop movie screen at the Starlight Drive-In. Ooh, I should have made you guess the vantage point.
Oh, I couldn't have done it.
Starlight Drive-In. That's a hard one.
Yeah. That is a great screenshot.
Yeah, I love those expansive skies in Fallout 4. Also, this one, it is a picture of Piper and his main character, and they're all kitted out in militia gear.
Piper is so decked out in military gear. I'm freaking out. I really enjoy Piper's little reporter outfit. I always leave her in her default clothing. So I would never have recognized her.
She looks really super badass. Also, kind of looks like she got her lips done.
She reminds me in this image of what's her name in the Terminator?
Sarah?
Yes, Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor.
Got a very, very Sarah Connor thing going on. And I want to bring up, I was talking with Archin the other day about Mr. G's Songs in the Key of Fallout album from before the Fallout 4 launch. And I still sing in the car to the Piper Mystery Girl song where he does the falsetto. Piper, Mystery Girl. I love it. I love it.
Brilliant. Well, Taz posts this picture in the screenshots and stories, and he says, a commando in her former life, Naomi gears up with Piper to go rescue Nick.
Lovely.
And
thank you for sharing.
How can people post to screenshots and stories, Shalene?
Well, if you will recall, you can join our Discord server by clicking that link on Twitch or sending us a message on social media. And once you are in our Discord server, you will find up towards the top a little channel called Screenshots and Stories. Post your little screenshot with a brief description in there, and we would love to share it on the show.
Mm-hmm. So that's what the community is playing. Now we're going to talk about what we're playing. So, Shalene, I have been playing a little bit of Satisfactory with Jess. We built a pergola.
Ooh,
which
pergola.
I think I sent you a picture of it because I was so proud of the pergola.
It's a good pergola.
Yeah, it was quite good. Enjoyed that quite a bit. And I'm just seeing if I could I didn't load up these screenshots ahead of time, but I did do a flight over. So I'm going to Vancouver Island in like 3 weeks on a bit of a vacation. Right. And I am planning to do a lot of sightseeing, and one of the things that I've been really keen on doing is flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator around Vancouver Island just to sort of check that out.
It sounds super fun.
And so I loaded up in a dual prop plane, and it's called Vendor Air. And let me see if I think I've got the pictures here somewhere. It was really sort of like, so I took off from Victoria Airport, which is like this tiny little airport on the island that we're going to fly into. And I don't know if you can see this here, but this is the inside of my cockpit from my little plane, and I'm flying, and it's like I'm over the ocean. This is Victoria Island on the right side. It's really nice. It was a beautiful evening for flying. The sun's going down. Here's another shot of me flying over all the scatterings of the islands. And it's crazy, like some of these islands are owned, like people own them, the entire island. Like it's just
that's cool.
So beautiful, right? And flying off into the sunset. And so here is where I'm actually going to be staying. I'll be staying over here somewhere.
Lovely.
Yeah. So it was really cool to kind of see that.
Area.
Kind of see that from the air.
Can I ask you a question? So, scenario, you're flying to Vancouver Island, and while you're on the way in midair, your pilot and the co-pilot in the plane are abducted by aliens. Do you think you can fly and land the plane?
Yeah.
I think you could. I really do.
I mean, so one of the great things, actually, anybody who has the ability to remain calm in an intense situation could technically land a commercial airliner. The challenge is usually that would never happen successfully. There's too many things that could go wrong. But air traffic control, if you have radio contact with air traffic control, they could walk you through the entire procedure to get the plane on the ground. Based on the amount of time that I spent in flight simulators, maybe I could calculate it out on like the trajectory that's needed to be able to capture what they call the glide slope.
Right.
So it's like the space, it's the space that like the plane has to be in as it's coming down to the runway. And of course the amount of fuel you have, the weight on board, your speed, your descent, all of those things are factored. The wind, whether or not the plane is coming in at an angle. So technically I could, but I definitely wouldn't want to.
Oh, yes. I hope that your pilots and co-pilot are not abducted by aliens. That's the last thing I want to happen. I was just wondering if you felt like you could, because I feel like you could.
Yeah,
I think if I was in the plane with you, I would be like, my friend can fly the plane.
It's so funny because when I started playing Microsoft Flight Sim and I got really into flight simulators, the next time that I had flown in a commercial aircraft was when my partner and I went to California for Christmas.
Yes.
And like I knew every stage of that flight. Like as we were going through it, I'm sitting next to him and I'm like, yep, they're going to deploy flaps in about a couple minutes. And then you'd hear flaps come out and it's like, ring. And I'm like, oh, that other sound, that's the gear going up.
I love it. And like, that's so great.
When they were sitting at the gate and like the cockpit door was open, I'm like, oh, I can see that they already have the jets on in the back, like the packs for auxiliary power, like because I could see the switch was clicked.
That is brilliant.
But yeah, so it's been nice. I actually, as much as enjoyable as it is to fly commercial crafts in Microsoft Flight Simulator, because you get quite a bit of a thrill out of that. Really where the game really shines is in those images that I've shown you in smaller aircrafts. And so I've really taken to the streets in sort of a way to fly smaller aircrafts to smaller airports in harder to reach places, just in these wild places. Like the other night I actually flew over the desert in Australia. And from the air, it's so amazing. Like the soil is just so orange and red. And there's these big windrows of sand and like nothing as far as the eye can see. And it's just really cool. So anyways, that's really all of the gameplay that I've been sort of checking out. Because I've been building this friggin' shed that has taken up my entire life. Which is now done, thankfully.
It's a beautiful shed, Vendor.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a lot of work. Look at this blister. Do you see that blister On my
manual
right here.
labor. These hands were not made for manual labor.
Let me tell you, boys and girls, this is meant for an office setting. Anyways, the shed turned out great. One of the things I've been really itching to get back to is some Euro Truck Simulator or American Truck Simulator. Yeah, I need to get back on the road. So, anyways, that's what I've been playing. What have you been up to?
I haven't had a ton of time for video games. I know I feel like I say that a lot. I did play a little bit of Animal Crossing, just some daily maintenance type stuff, working on digging up tulips I've been working on this for a long time, Vendor, and there's still an overwhelming amount of tulips on this island.
It's an epidemic.
It's really silly. But I've done a bit of that, just a little bit of fishing and diving and stuff. Just a few minutes at a time, just when I really need some calm in my life. And I've played a bit of Fallout 76. They have put a new update out, and along with a new season. And from the update, I think I only played one night of the update. The highlighted corpses are really, really nice. That sounds horrible. That sounds like a horrible thing to say. But you kill the enemies in the game, and then they fall in the tall grass and you can't see them anymore. But now they like glow until you loot them.
So handy.
It's really convenient. and they glow a different color if they're a legendary, if they have legendary loot.
Oh my gosh.
It's really, really nice. It's a great quality of life update. I ran the Rust Eagle event with Archon, and that was a good time.
What is Rust Eagle? Tell me about this.
Okay, so do you remember the Blood Eagles? Did you? I don't think you played long enough to experience the Blood Eagles.
I have played with the Blood Eagles, yes.
Okay. The Rust Eagles are an offshoot of the Blood Eagles, who are super into building robots.
Oh, I was going to say, I feel like they're like an older, like geriatric faction.
Yeah, they like building robots, and there is a little team of Brotherhood of Steel guys who show up to fight the robots in gladiatorial combat.
Ah, brilliant.
And you, the player, and your team join and fight alongside the Brotherhood of Steel guys. I was using my my perk, friendly fire perk, to heal up the Brotherhood of Steel guys. Really enjoyed that. Right. There was a golden eyebot that was sort of like the golden snitch between rounds. That was really fun. Everybody was trying to catch the golden snitch. Really enjoyed that. It was a fun event, and there are a couple of other new events. I haven't played them yet. There is, as Jess mentions in chat, happy to be assigned homework. Yes, there is a whole new slate of homework assignments.
Oh, really?
Yes. So that's always fun. And
you have to add that to your list.
That's all I've been doing. I do. Yes. My giant ever growing list.
Oh, wonderful.
That's all I've got.
Oh, great. Well, I think that's a show. So thank you all for listening. Don't forget, stay tuned next Friday, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on We Just Love Games Network. Will be the next episode of GameStack Podcast. And do you want to tell the people?
I do. So I was talking earlier about Mr. G, the musical maestro. He's going to join us on the show next week. He's got a new album out, and I've listened to part of it, and it's quite lovely. Very folky. I quite like it. So, and Mr. G is a lovely human being. Can't wait to just hang out and talk with him.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Don't forget, the show is also sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend. $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. You can email us at info@wejustlovegames.com. We love to hear from you. If you have any gripes or issues or things that you would like to add about some topics that we've talked about on the show with the news, like Activision doing their own investigation Send us an email. We'd love to hear what you have to say about the subject, and we'll talk about it on the show. You can also connect with us on Twitter. You can find the network Twitter page at We Just Love Games, Shalene at Shalene L, myself at Vendertron N. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, facebook.com/group/We Just Love Games. And as Shalene mentioned at the beginning of the show, if you scroll right down below and you're listening live right now, you can connect in via the Discord, which is our chat after dark. And that is a really good way to stay in touch with the community. But don't forget, we're on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, Google, all of the other podcast platforms that you can think of. Please like, subscribe, and review the show. Thank you all for listening. And Shalene, have you got a last word?
I am going to steal this from the incredible Jessica Starr. That dead body is positively glowing.
Good night, all.